The investment announced by Hydroaicén is a small part of the project's real cost, since the company's calculations do not include the enormous financial, environmental and social subsidies given to the project. The clearest subsidy is given by the free use of water. Endesa practically owns 100% of the Bácar and Pascua rivers' water and would not pay a penny for its use. This is possible due to the murky reforms imposed by the military dictatorship in the 1980 Constitution, which consecrates the private property of water rights. And due to the 1981 Water Code, that allowed registering water rights free of charge and for perpetuity. On the other hand, there are the environmental subsidies, in the form of woods, valleys, landscapes, and land rendered useless by the reservoirs and power lines, areas that will no longer be able to produce, and ecosystems lost for good. The project also has important social subsidies, as the state would be forced to take care of any trouble arising from the arrival of machinery and employees to the region. Lastly, there is an enormous and awful subsidy in the form of income not generated by tourism, in eliminated jobs, and in the irreparable loss in the country's image. The most conservative estimates calculate, during the construction period alone, a loss of $500 million. The estimates that consider the increasing trend of tourism in Chilean and Argentine Patagonia, on the other hand, tell us this loss could escalate to around $2,000 million. However, in the budget presented by the company, the value of the water they would use is not included. Neither are the project's social and environmental costs, nor the loss resulting from the country's damaged image. And they are not included because these costs would be paid by all citizens through their taxes and the depreciation of their national assets, thereby delivering an enormous subsidy to Hydroaicén and Transelec's electrical business. Why does this happen? Because electrical development is completely subsidized. From the free water, the free rivers, the free basin, in addition to them being able to externalize all of these projects' costs, and they can internalize all the benefits, the profit, the utilities. The companies then would retain all the profit, while the society would have to carry the burden of all the loss. The communities end up losing. The country and Chilean democracy loses. The perspective that citizens have the legitimate right to stand up for what they want for their land and for their life ends up losing. The Aysén region ends up losing. Patagonia and the world as well, due to the impact on an exceptional territory like this. And the intergenerational equity that loses its future as well. If we keep up this game, all we'll end up having is an extremely poor country in the next decades. The Hydroaicén project faces us with the false option of having to destroy Chilean Patagonia in order to supply the center of the country with energy.
Chile's privilege is that while being poor in fossil fuels, it is very rich in renewable energy resources, therefore still having a long future ahead.
Recent studies indicate that unconventional renewable energy can supply Chile without generating large social and environmental costs, and without destroying the development of the Patagonia its inhabitants wish for. It is often argued that this technology is too expensive, but this fact is vanishing as the price of this technology keeps dropping year after year. In fact, nowadays, this kind of alternative energy is becoming ever more competitive.
The potential, economically feasible to implement, in the area of unconventional, renewable energy, that is to say wind-powered, solar, geothermal, small-scale hydraulic, and biomass, is of over 3,000 megawatts from here to the year 2025. In a scenario where the price of energy increases, as happened last year, this could easily be doubled, reaching up to 5,000 or 6,000 mega in potential to be developed.
Mega de potencial posible de desarrollar.